Hello fellow blenders, this is Peter here with PM Designs. In this video I'm going to show you how to get a nice effect like you're shooting somebody in the face, something like that. So yeah, let's get straight on with it. So I've got this lovely random mouse-like creature because he looks like he deserves a bullet to the head. I'm going to use him for this example. So what I'm going to do first is going to edit mode, come to the back, because he's going to get the exit wound is going to come out the back of his head. So that's where I'm going. I'm going to press C to get the circle select tool. I'm just going to select some random verts here. Go to vertex groups and add a new group, and I'm going to call it skin flaps. And then I'm going to press Control and I. I'm going to hold Control and press I and add a new group called pinned. The skin flaps group is not necessary, but it might come in useful later. And so I'm going to assign everything else to this pinned group. So if I just double check those, yeah, that one's fine. No. Oh, see, it didn't work, so I didn't do it. Select the pin group, Control I, go to skin flaps and assign. So, right, okay. So now I'm just going to come here, I'm going to add a force field, which is going to be wind. Size it up a bit just so we can see it. I'm going to rotate it around, bring that up to somewhere like that. I'm going to bring up a timeline. Don't really need to, but do it anyway. And come forward to, let's say, frame 10. And I'm going to go to my wind physics properties here. I'm going to set the strength to 0. And while hovering over this, just press I to insert a keyframe. Yeah, so that's strength 0. I'm going to come forward by 1 frame. And I'm going to set the strength to, let's go at 8,000. And I'm going to press I, keyframe that. You could also just do auto keying. I'm going to come forward 1 more frame and then set the strength back down to 0 and keyframe that. So I've got these 3 keyframes done. Cool. I'll hide my wind for a moment. Okay, so back in this guy, what I want to do is go into edit mode, select that skin flaps group, and I'm going to press Shift H to hide everything else. And now if I just come in close here, I want to cut this up into like sort of shredded skin. So I'm just going to press K to get the knife tool, and I'm just going to draw like a random kind of like spider web shape going across. I don't know what it would be called. Just not necessarily, well, probably better if it's not symmetrical. Let's just add one going into the center from here. Okay, and now I want to rip these vertices, but if I try and do it now, it's going to tell me there's a problem. Cannot rip selected faces because I have faces in here. I can't do it with faces. So I'm going to go to edge select mode. I'm just going to deselect some of these so now I no longer have whole faces selected. Okay. If I wanted to have some bits of the like skin actually explode away, I could add some further cuts here, like to this one. Yeah. So now I've just got these parts selected, and now I press. Well, press V and then escape. So these are ripped, but I haven't moved them anywhere. So I can bring back everything else. And you can kind of see it, which can be fixed with modifiers, if you add like a smooth modifier or a weld modifier. But I'm not going to worry about that right now. I just want to get on with exploding stuff. So I'm going to go back to first frame. Okay, I'm going to come down to, what's this one called? I'm going to come down to physics properties, click cloth. First thing I'm going to do is come down to my cache and make sure it starts from frame 10. I'm going to come to shape, and I'm going to select pinned because that's 90% of the body is pinned. I don't want that to move. So now we should have a lovely, oh, that's really slow, isn't it? What happened there? Oh, because I didn't, right, sorry. Let's see, we've got 0, 8,000, 0. Let's see if that works now. Go back to the beginning. Not sure why that's happening. It should be much more explosive than that. Alright, I've done it on 4,000 before, and let's change this to 50,000. Keyframe that, see how that works. Okay, there you go. Alright, maybe 50,000 is a bit too much. Let's go with 20,000. 8,000 should be plenty. I'm not sure why that's. I guess it depends on the scale of your model. Okay, there we go. Something quite nice happens there. All right, so that is basically it. Yeah, you've got bits flying off, and you've got the flaps coming out. You could, if you wanted to make sure that the skin didn't necessarily flap back so fast, you could just bring this the wind's third keyframe out of it, so it does something like that, which is a bit odd. Or you just go in and mess with your cloth simulation a bit. You know, mess with the quality steps, the tension, and things like that, and the, what is it called, shrinking factor. So if you brought this down, it's quite fun actually. Let me just bring this one back. We don't want that. It stretches out before it explodes, which is quite cool. Yeah, so you can do with the shrinking factor. So just one more thing we can do. If I go to where it's exploding, oh, I don't like let's turn off the shrinking factor for now. Put that back on 0. Bang, yeah, okay. So another thing we can do is just to color the inside. So we can add a solidify modifier, right? And again, this is one reason I made the skin flaps group, is we could just assign it to that part, but it depends, you know, if you're going to have a skull inside, then it's fine. But the way I'm doing it now, that won't work. So I'm going to make some thickness, give some thickness to the skin flaps, and I want to give them a color as well. So I'm going to add a new material. I'm just going to call it blood. Doesn't matter what, flesh, whatever. Make it a kind of dark red color with low roughness. You could do it better, but okay. So now in the solidify, I'm going to come down to materials, and I'm going to offset to 4, because this is a bit, it's not that strange. There are 5 materials, yeah, but offset by 0 is, this is number 1 because it's not offset. So offset by 1, 2, 3, 4. So you want to go to the 5th material, you offset by 4. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so then we get this lovely interior blood, yeah, effect. There's some other things we could do here. We could add a subdivision, just to make it look a little bit nicer, and then you just need to probably put that above the cloth simulation and then recache that. Okay, but the only problem if you do a cloth simulation, a subdivision, is you get this. So then you have to come down here and where's it gone? You could do a weld modifier or smooth, yeah. And then again, you might want to select the skin flaps group because you don't want to be welding everything, yeah. But so we can mess with the weld. Okay, so yeah, there you go. That's it. I think that's a pretty cool effect, and I've got to thank my volunteer for taking part in this and just going bang. This don't worry about this. This is happening because his tail is very thin because of the subdivision and the solidify. So that hopefully won't matter on your models. But yeah, if you found that useful or interesting or disgusting, please drop a like. Thanks very much.